Okay, well, the SmartMister is a product that takes hydrochloric acid, which is the product that's in your body as part of your immune system that kills bacteria and germs. We put that into a device, we heat it up and we pass air through it, and we then distribute that into a workplace. It then runs through the air and destroys any pathogens, destroys bacteria, funguses, mushroom spores, and then it settles onto a surface. And as it settles onto a surface, it leaves a slight powder, which is difficult to see, but anything that lands on there, like us breathing a pathogen on or a virus falling onto it, is basically becomes inert within 1 to 3 seconds. So it's a great way of sanitizing a surface. We recommend that you use this in the evening when there's nobody in the building, and that way you'll set it going at, say, 4 o'clock in the morning. It finishes at 5 o'clock in the morning. People come in at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and every surface is clean and sanitized to a medical standard. So if a cleaner comes in, they can never accuse you of catching any problems from surfaces, etc. And that's roughly the box, the quick version of it. There's a World Health Organization and NHS guidelines of how much of the sanitation product needs to actually live on surfaces and under. So if you've got a desk, chewing gum underneath a school desk. And to do that, it's 30 cubic meters to about 50 cubic meters for an hour of use. So it normally does about 30 cubic meters, a small office size. And if you've got bigger rooms, you can leave it on for longer, but then we recommend that you run around with a device that allows you to detect whether it's reached 80 meters down the corridor. So it's normally 30 to 50 cubic meters. Yeah, I can just go to an app, choose the machine, north or south, and turn it on, and basically it comes on. Which is good if so you can set this with a timer that will say turn on at 4 o'clock in the morning and turn off whenever it requires, so say 4:30 or 5:30 or something. But if you've got people that want to work in a building, say electricians are changing the LED lights overnight, and you ask them, they want it to be turned off on a Tuesday night, you can effectively just go in, set an exception, and if everybody forgets about that, you can just log on from anywhere in the world that's got internet and press on or off. So the app's pretty good that way. And the app will also tell you when you're running out of liquid, so you then know that you need to go back and fill it up again. A lot. So we conform to 4 standards, so that there isn't a standard for killing COVID-19 yet, because COVID-19 hasn't been genome mapped. So what you have to do is there's a standard for killing all pathogens that basically are harmful to mammals. So we conform to that, which is a World Health Organization standard, and it's adopted by NHS in the UK, BUPA, Public Health Organisation, etc. So we follow that standard and their methodology of how to deliver it and how to check that it's working. So when you get the box, the bottom of all the documentation is basically got the standards written across here, and then the 13704 is the one for sanitizing. But we had to do tests, we had to do checks. We were swabbing the areas, so we were having to swab down an area and send this off to a lab to check that we actually can do what it says, and then we got the reports for that. So we conform. We're actually higher sanitation level than most NHS operating theatres when we did it as well. So they were really impressed, and that's leading to more insight as well. Yes, I've actually got tomorrow I'm going to a primary school with that in view. They're having to evacuate a room if somebody tests positive, and then pay for a deep cleaning fogging session, which costs them about £6,000. and they can't use the room for 4 days. And by putting this in and then doing an ATP test, a test that conforms to all the regulations, they can reopen the room within 2 hours. So they put this in the room. In their case, they're going to put it on a trolley, wheel it in, set it going. Their room's about 20 minutes of fogging. Leave it for half an hour, say, or whatever time they choose tomorrow. And then they'll go back in, they'll do a test of the air, then they'll do a swab test, and then it'll be signed off. And there's a little, in their case, there's a little sticker, and they'll put the date and time for the insurance company to know that it's been signed off again. So yes, they can re-enter a room quicker than before, because before you get a legal requirement of leaving it for so many days. Well, we also can do a fogger, which is effectively a device like this. And you fill this up with the solution. You then go around and you close your room down. You have to tape up all the windows. You have to remove anything that would warp, like books, from surfaces. So if you're leaving papers out on a desk, they would warp because it's a wet solution. You have to take all the books away. You have to take computers out of the room. It's a very invasive system. And then basically you spray a liquid as if you were spraying plants. Everything becomes dripping wet. So you spray it one day, full hazmats, everything, and then go back next day and clean all that residue off and vacuum all the powder away and suck all the moisture. And then a day later, open it up again. There is a light version of fogging, which is not a fogging, but a disinfectant that you can spray in and then go back into the room, say 2 hours afterwards. But that doesn't meet, that wouldn't then be to the government's legislated codes of practice. So fogging is a very wet, invasive, expensive system. And this is an automated system that runs in the evening that nobody even knows it's there. Apart from when they come in next morning, the air smells fresh. It smells as if you've been to the seaside and you've sanitized. And then people think that you've done a good cleaning job. But fogging's the opposite. Fogging's they worry about things. No. The actual liquid has been used, it was invented in the First World War to clean open wounds. If you cut yourself, it's what your body uses inside, and basically that rushes to the wound and stops any viruses and any bacteria getting into your bloodstream. So it's already in your body, it's perfectly natural, it's something that's there. It's nature's natural way, and we're just mimicking nature. But for safety side of it, it's used in food production. When you buy apples from Sainsbury's, it's already squirted with this so that it doesn't rot when it's on the shelves. Some places put it on bananas to stop them over-ripening quickly. It's put on tomatoes, it's put in corn on the cob. It's already in many things you've had. Cheese, pretty much any mature cheese has got it. Sometimes when you buy cheese, you'll see little white crystals in, yep. And that's this. That's a build-up over a large period of time. It's safe. So it's a dry product. It puts the mist that is in the air isn't wet, as odd as that sounds. And if it touches a surface like a light switch or inside of a computer, it doesn't do it harm. It's just like taking a product and using it in a seaside resort. So if you were going to Blackpool and you had a computer or photocopy in Blackpool, it's the same as using it that. It just changes the ions in the air a little bit. But no, it doesn't do any harm to it.
One of our main test beds to start with was it a chiropractor that we
Yeah, that's a chiropractor, yeah. And I actually spoke to them yesterday and they've been delighted. What it did for them is it meant that instead of having a person in a treatment room for 15 minutes and then having to spend half an hour to 1 hour cleaning and then having a period that after they've cleaned allowing people in. So they went from having, I don't know whatever it was, say 7 or 8 patients in 1 hour at whatever they charge, to suddenly only having one patient every hour and a half. So their income was down. So putting this in, they went to their governing board and got the regulations of how to prove clean, and they put this in, and now they've got 3 minutes in between patients, and all they do with that is they wipe down the previous patient's thing with a top-up squirty version, wipe it away, and then they check with the sensor that's still there, and they occasionally do a swab test, so like a daily thing for the insurance company. And now they've got 10 times more patients allowed in, but the patients think it's really clean, smells clean, and they got confidence from it.